Ciao. Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Greetings, race fans, and welcome back to our coverage of the Apex Racing League GT3 Trophy. JR Gregory here with you on the call, alongside my partner, Sam Fitzgerald, doing the impossible, doing the cams and adding his insights to our broadcast here today. And it has been a scintillating schedule so far this season in ARL, as we've watched 3 classes of drivers battle at Daytona, the Glen, and Spa, and also Sonoma was in there as well. This week, the action continues at Mosport, opened in 1961 in Ontario, Canada. This track is past host to Can-Am, Trans Am, the Formula One Canadian Grand Prix, and MotoGP, currently host to IMSA, NASCAR, and Trans Am. Today's configuration, 2.5 miles or 4 clicks, 10 corners, and our current configuration, the record was set back in 2008, a 105.823 set by Marco Werner in an Audi R10. And if you're listening to the history here, that is correct. An LMP1 prototype back in that heyday of Audi was quicker than a late 70s Formula One car. So Mosport, a fascinating track, much more difficult, Sam, than it appears on paper. And I would say the keys are this. You got to be fast in turn 1. You can't overslow there. This course has a lot of high commitment areas and has a lot of pretty harsh penalties for making mistakes. Also, you got to commit to turn 2, that difficult left-hander over the rise. The car gets light. You got to be on the power before you can see the exit of that one. And we're likely to see some incidents there. Got to have a good run out of turn 5, 5A Moss corner, to get a good run down that back straight. And you have to hit turn 10 with precision to get a good run down that pit straight. But we got a pretty big field here, a pretty close field, some good quality drivers out here, and I think we're in for a good race here today.
I think we absolutely are. I appreciate those facts, absolutely, JR, but you did introduce me as Sam Fitzgerald, and I'm not going to let that slip. Worst start to a broadcast I've ever heard, honestly. I haven't been called Fitzgerald for a while, so no, I'll make a note of that one. But no, everything else that you said there was absolutely correct, and it is great to go to this circuit. Of course, one of the oldies really on iRacing, and really one of the sort of first bits of content that even nowadays is a pretty good one to buy, because even though it's maybe not used in World Motorsport as much as it used to be, we still visit this place a lot, whether it be GT3s or IMSA or many other categories of racing. So yeah, really good to be back here. We're currently in qualifying and the pro qualifying, so you can see there Miko, apologies, at the top of the Pro-Am qualifying, but the pro is trying to better his time right now.
Yeah, and those V8s kind of stacking up at the top of the pro qualifying right now. We got a couple Mustangs up front, followed by a couple of those AMG Mercedes-Benz, and look at those times, a 1:14.9. And take a quick look at the track temperature. We're pretty balmy, 40 degrees C right now. So I'll tell you what, Sam, those sub 1:15 lap times right now, particularly without the help of a draft, they are absolutely flying here. We are open qualifying session, so they may have gotten a draft somewhere along the line, but Nurmi really showing what he's made of right now and throwing down the gauntlet with a very, very quick time. Paluk right there, though, behind him, less than a tenth, and you can see the kind of quality of our competition right here. It looks like I'm going to say my top 24 cars right now, less than a second covering those guys in qualifying.
Yeah, looking very, very competitive, and expect these Pro 10s to get faster as the tyres get a little bit warmer in a moment. But in the meantime, we'll have a look at the championship points going into this round. And there it is for the AMS. Maybe, yeah, one of our most competitive is the AMS. Probably the pros are most competitive, but the AMS are pretty competitive because Rampazzo's at the top, Sialfi in second place, and Alex Rogers in third. Rogers has looked quick in practice though so far today, so watch out for him. The Pro-Ams, it's been all course sim racing. This is the least competitive one because Meg Palach has been absolutely dominating ahead of his course sim racing teammates Winkler and Nurmi. In the pros, meanwhile, this is so close. It's Leitner, just 10 points ahead of Steinhoff. Kirkeper would have to have a stellar final 6 round of the season to bring that one back, but it is possible. We're not taking into consideration the job scores at the moment, so I expect that to change quite a bit. And then we also have the Teams Championship as well, and this one's not much of a competition. Impulse looking for back-to-back Teams titles. They're well on their way to achieving that.
Very interesting at the top of that pro list as well. The season in pro so far has been about consistency. That pro podium right now of Leiner, Stonhoff, and Kirkepa have only one win between them across 4 rounds, that going to your leader, Leitner. So really in the pro category, it's been about being consistent, staying in that top 5 or close to it, and getting the points where you can get them in that very competitive field. And so far working out very well for Leitner.
Yeah, he's just got the edge, but we're still, this is a long season, this one. I mean, it's 10 rounds, pretty much as long as an ARL season as we'll ever have. And yeah, so far, we're only 4 rounds in, so plenty of opportunity for these points to change. And of course, we've just got the single race today. We haven't got the double race like we had back at Sonoma, just a single 60-minute race. So 140 points on offer for the drivers. We're running on board with Kirkepa, who's still got a small shot at the title, 3rd place in the championship as it stands, and he's going to try to usurp the core sim racing drivers at the top, and he does so, moves into the 14s.
And that's the reverse of the commentator's curse right there. Good camera work and commentary by Sam, whatever his last name is. Saw that heater come in from Kirkepa, and not over by any extent, but interesting stack of pro-ams there behind Kirkepa. That's Nurmi, Apaluk, Denisenko there within a stone's throw of the pro times at the top. And we're expecting some of these pros to put down some more heaters, but Leitner, your current points leader, almost a half second off the pace right now, and time ticking away, only about 5 minutes remaining to make something happen there, and bam, there is Leitner. He heard me and now has gotten within about 600ths of Kirkepa up in P1.
Some nice times being set by the Delachas guys. I don't think this is going to be a big lap from a B3, but might be May that we have to watch back, because May's just set the fastest first sector of anyone. Second sector, maybe lacking a little bit, so maybe he just got a nice draft in the first sector. Albeit the first sector is like the first 3 corners, so it's a very demanding part of the track. So not easy to go fast through there. He'll certainly move up the order. Steinhoff moves up to 2nd place. May ends up at 6th, but I mean, again, it's only 2.5 tenths of a second. Because I think Kirkepa just improved as well, so he's now got a little bit of breathing room to the rest.
Yeah, and the Mustangs still showing their strength up front. It's my goodness, look at all those V8s. Where's all my 911s? Is there even any 911 drivers out there? As I'm looking up and down the timing tower, looks like the first one is sitting right now in P36. So that 992 GT3R not favored among this group, at least at this track. They do have the opportunity to switch cars. We saw a couple changes up top at Sonoma, but qualifying winding down here, only about 3.5 minutes remaining. So if you got a heater in you, now's the time to put it down as we ride along with Leitner right now. This is that turn 2 I was talking about. You really have to commit, turning in across that very difficult left-hander. Here's another place where the exit is kind of over a rise. You get to commit early and with precision, and we'll see some people wash out there. And you know, it's really great to see all these elevation changes, Sam, from the onboard, from the 2-dimensional kind of overhead map. Mosport does not look that tough, but it is very, very nuanced. And as you said, it's been on the service for a very long time. These drivers have thousands and thousands of laps out here, but every driver on the grid is still working out those little nuances to pick up an extra tenth here and there. And super great racing here at Mosport as a result.
Yeah, it's a very short circuit, and it's going to be a tricky circuit to overtake out as well, because once you've got quite a long Andretti straight on the back straight, the corner at the end of it isn't really a braking zone. It's a bit like the Barcelona, really, where turn 1 isn't much of a corner, and so it's tricky to outbrake someone. Leitner with a nice lap there. It looked very clean, and the way he's just able to make Moss Corner look so easy. Moss Corner is one of the most tricky corners on all of iRacing, and the way that these guys are just able to make one smooth movement with the wheel and turn it into one corner, which is so tricky to do, but it really does show that the balance that they got in these cars and the confidence that they have. Clearly Steinhoff just backing out of this lap, but he's still got one more attempt to go, because once the 32 minutes are up, that's it. You can't complete your lap. So Bokler, seemingly the Delta cars absolutely have Sector 1 nailed down. It's the rest of the lap that they're struggling with a little bit. Bokler with the fastest first sector, good enough for 5th overall.
Yeah, and to right about Moss Corner, it's, again, looks easy on paper, but very difficult to master. And I think we may be approaching it right here, so you can see what these drivers are having to deal with. Got to get the car woed up, or actually we're not quite there. We got to get the car woed up, and big camber change there as you go uphill under braking and get it around the first part. And now we're riding along with Beckler right now, and you see right here you're still trying to trail brake right here, and you got to nail the throttle nice and early, use all the exits. I think Beckler left a little bit on the table right there, but yeah, much more difficult than it looks. And as I said, very easy to overslow on that entry. You're storming downhill in 5th, a little nerve-wracking watching that braking zone coming up and knowing that you're going to end up in 2nd gear coming out of that critical 5B in Moss. So these drivers really showing how it's done right here. And look at up front, Sam, about 2/10 separating the top 5, and it's Ford, Mercedes, Ford, Mercedes as the V8's dominating.
Yes, and not many improvements coming in right at the end of this session. Norbert Leitner with an underwhelming first 2 sectors. I think it would have to be a miracle final sector for him to find an improvement on this lap. Oh, apologies, he hasn't actually completed the 2nd sector yet. It's quite late. The 2nd sector ends, but yeah, you can see there's no improvement there. So not looking like he's going to be able to challenge for pole position. Is anyone else out there? Leon Mishka, can he improve? A poor qualifying for him so far, the defending champion. And only 14th, very disappointing for the Impulse Racing drivers generally. I mean, his teammate Wazowski is around there as well, so not a good time for Impulse Racing, albeit the TAM livery guys are in 2nd and 3rd, who are part of the sort of the other team for them. But we will transition over to the grid then for this round of the championship, if I can get it to show for you in just apologies, we've got the warm-up. I'm not used to this to this format, even though I made this format. We're in the interlude now, as I like to call it. 3 minutes for the drivers to calm down a little bit for the race.
Yeah, and calm down is for sure. You got to let that adrenaline wash out of you from qualifying and kind of reset and get ready for a 1-hour race. 60% fuel load here, Sam, so there will be a mandatory pit stop. I did a little bit of fuel calculations on the back of a bourbon-stained bar napkin, and it appears to me pit window is going to be about 10 minutes long, opening about 25 minutes in, and drivers running it dry will be coming in about 35 minutes into this one, and we'll get more into the strategy involved there. There are times when you might want to come in early, times when you might want to come in late, and a little preview smooch there on the back of that M4 GT3 by the 232 AMG Mercedes behind. Interesting to start trading paint during warm-up. Wonder what's going on there.
Yeah, a bit of warm-up for us to see what the race is going to be like later on. And yeah, there's a move for the Core Sim Racing driver of, that's not Marcus Fox, it's his driver behind. Let's see if I can figure out something here. Oh no, it was Marcus Fox. I'm very confused. Anyway, but yeah, they've got another minute to go. In terms of that fuel, I imagine this is like a low fuel consumption circuit. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let us know any tips that you have in chat, or anyone that you're supporting. We're a bit more likely to show them if you do. Let us know who you are supporting today. But with so many sort of medium speed corners around this circuit, you never kill the speed. You're not wasting fuel by braking and then accelerating from a low speed. Instead, you're sort of maintaining it throughout, but not on full power for a lot of that. So maybe the pit window will be a little bit bigger than normal, but it'll still be a lot down to fuel saving, especially with how tricky it is to overtake around this place. You might end up in 2nd or 3rd place, or just in the middle of a pack, and really be unable to do anything. At that point, it's about how much fuel can you save, and therefore have a shorter pit stop when we get to the mid part of the race.
Yeah, and some really great opportunities for fuel saving as we see the cars coming down that Andretti straightaway into turn 8. Can definitely do some lift and coast, as Sam already pointed out, not a hard braking zone into turn 8 there. So can definitely get out of the power, save a ton of fuel there, save a little bit into turn 1, save a ton into Moss corner as well by breathing the throttle as you come around turn 4. So we should be able to see the drivers that are going to try that, and a lap or two worth of fuel adds up when it goes to putting the fuel in, can save you a second or two, and when the field is this tight in terms of pace, can make a difference down the road. And speaking of turn 8, you know, we saw it briefly, or actually we'll get back to that, because here is our starting grid. It's going to be Kurpika next to Leitner in row 1, then Steinhoff next to Mikko Nurmi out of the Pro-Am class. That's P1 for them, pushing deep into the top 10 there for his qualifying time. Then Beckler next to Lovrich. Then it's Paluk, P2 in Pro-Am, next to May in 7 and 8. Denisenko is P3 in Pro-Am. He'll be in 9, lined up next to Urbisu. Then it's Winkler next to Rogers in row 6. Then it's Igor Kos next to Michki in 13 and 14. Wasowski next to Aiden Young, the winner last time I was here at Sonoma. Then it's Volmers next to Gelda. Rampazzo next to Grossman in 19 and 20. Marcus Fox will line up next to Jatautas in 21 and 22. Then Engel next to Eberstein in 23 and 24. Then Edwards next to Guarini. Stefan David will line up next to Sergio Abato in 27 and 28. Lotman next to Barry. Then it's Cialfi next to Grandeliers. Pendle next to Nover. Caserta next to Jason Hodson in 35 and 36. Then Schuttler next to Reinke. Svensson next to Besegio. And Eric Roseth there lining up in the back. And that makes me wonder if he failed to set a qualifying time, which is kind of looking that way as the pace car rolls out. My goodness, Sam, that is a ton of cars. This is not a very long track, so I'm thinking that traffic could potentially play a role here in the early going, and back markers are definitely be playing a role down the stretch.
Yeah, and for the drivers, they've got to make sure that they're sensible with those back markers, because if you are a back marker, you do have to let the other driver pass. That's not necessarily the case on iRacing all the time. In fact, in real life racing, a lot of the times we can see Alex Rogers here. His webcam is enabled. Because often blue flags are just advisory. That's what the case is for most motorsport. But these guys actually have to lift off within 2 straights once another driver gets within half a second of them. So do watch out for that, and hopefully that doesn't decide, you know, the race win. We saw some exciting Formula V action the other day on Saturday, where unfortunately it did decide the racing. But yeah, we'll see if it makes any impact today. I'm looking down the order at that Eric Roseth, and he's actually not even taking the start as Eric Roseth, so that's a shame. He didn't have a qualifying ban or anything, but yeah, clearly maybe something cropping up at the last moment, and it's not able to race today.
Yeah, and you see Aiden Young there with the forearm workout. Mishki as well doing a little bit of weaving here, and you know, that's something a little interesting. In the amateur leagues that I've raced in here in the Pacific Northwest, they don't allow that on the formation lap, and that'll actually get you in trouble with the organizers. But you see these guys trying to get some heat into those front tires. We've talked about the new tire model here and the reworking of the GT3 tires in particular. So we are going to go green here momentarily. You see the lights off on the pace car. Pace car dives into pit lane, and that is going to be your pole sitter, Kurkipa, on the inside here. He's going to have the inside run into turn 1, controlling the field currently, and we are green, and Kurkipa will go immediately over and take the normal line, and pretty well behaved so far into turn 1. Tires still coming up to temp. Got to take it easy here, and you don't want to be that driver who wads it up on the first lap of a 60-minute race, and these guys looking great off the start so far, Sam.
Yeah, just one car round, it looks like, just at the back. I'm not entirely sure who that was. Maybe Igor Kos, I think, has gone for a spin. But yeah, at the front, they were all very patient And we went green fairly late, which was a good thing because a lot of the drivers were still trailing back. Here we come into Moss Corner, where there could be some different braking points for a couple of these drivers. We've got an impulse car on the inside of a core sim racing car as they go side by side through the second part, and there's a little bit of door banging, and they'll maintain that battle on the end straight.
Wow, and look at that Mercedes muscling it through there on lap 1, and my goodness, maybe not the kind of caution you would want to see out of these drivers, but definitely assertive. And you know, when traffic is all packed in like this, Sam, off the start can be your best opportunity to get a couple of quick and dirty positions, but it does not come without its risk. And that was, I think you were just showing it. That may have been Winkler there, making something happen on the inside. And you're right, Igor Koss.
That's a car off, and I think they've almost glitched out. Thought they were going to bounce back onto the circuit there. We're watching Guarini versus Abayo right now. And there's still a bit more debris in the background there. It was almost as though, yeah, one car went into the wall, and now that is a slow car. That is Marcus Fox. Maybe that was his front bumper that he lost. So a couple of incidents there, and it looks like it's more than just air damage. It looks like there's some stain damage because he is really, really struggling. His teammate gets past him, and he'll need to take an early pit stop.
Yeah, unfortunate there, and it can be difficult to line up those cars into turn 10. It's a little bit of an awkward corner off camber, and so critical to get that good run down the pit straight. Oh, as you see that McLaren trying the outside of Moss there, and a very nice move. That was Nover, and squeaking past, or in the Acura rather, squeaking past the Lambo of Cialfi, and that is not a move you see very often with that inside covered. But Nover making the outside work for him there. That was a sweet one.
I got a bit more side by side here. Actually, that's just Rinka making that standard move on Fox. Hodgson's going to have to go the long way around, which is going to be a bit awkward. Hopefully, Fox can get into the pits. Yeah, he commits early to it. As I said, someone might sort of block him from being able to get in, but that's all safe through there. So, yeah, I will try to find exactly what happened to a couple of our drivers so far in this race. Because, yeah, we have had a couple of collisions so far, but yeah, certainly at the front, it's all quite clean. Top 6 are in the exact same order as where they started.
Yeah, absolutely. And beneath that, 7 and 8 have switched, and our whole top 10 stable aside from that one position change. So these guys hanging pretty closely with their qualifying pace. But look at Kirkapa up front, Sam. It's 0.9 gap, and if he can get that gap outside of a second, this will turn into a track day for him, as he will no longer be towing Leitner behind. Leitner looking back behind him to Steinhoff, about a 4/10 gap back to him. And here is Kos. We're going to see what happened to him. Takes a trip through the grass early, and oof, just the slightest little bump, and that is the worst place to take contact there. That is coming right over the rise, turn 2, where the car is getting light, and you're right on the ragged edge, and just the slightest little door bump sent Kos off into the grass, and that cost him 24 positions, which is nearly insurmountable with this many cars at Mosport.
I'm going to try to find out what happened to Marcus Fox as well. He was having a mighty battle with Hardus Utortus, and this might give us an idea of what happened to him. Oh, apologies, this is on the outlap, so that's why he was changing position so many times, which now makes sense. Maybe this one could be what happened to Fox, who, remember, like, had damage on the front of his car. Let's see if this is it. This looks a little bit more like it. The Eberstein in front of him, one of the Cold Ice Esports cars. Oh, so that was Eberstein just having some kind of hardware issue because he lost connection and drive simultaneously. Fox went into the back of him, and fortunately Eberstein didn't rejoin, otherwise he would have been bouncing back into the middle of the track.
Wow, that is brutal. Fox suffering about the worst kind of mishap that you can get here. It kind of reminds you of Mario Kart, where you're driving along minding your own business, and here comes that mushroom to knock the body panel off your car. Very unfortunate for him. The car in front blinking out and blinking back in from another world, taking his front clip off of that bend. So that's what sent him back into the pits, and he's now down 18, currently running in P39.
just had a move for Roman Bokler. There was also a move just that we saw before with Sergio involved. But this has been a change for P4 in this race. Just happened, Roman Bokler. I mean, that is a mugging into T3. What a move. Great work from the Delatraz driver.
Yeah, no doubt. And Nurmi kind of caught napping there. It's not a place where you normally see somebody stick it down the inside, but definitely being made to work there. And take a look at Baseggio there in this big crowd of cars. Very, very tight gaps at all the cars around him as they come onto that back straight. And Sam, I know that we mentioned earlier that turn 8, not great for passing, but it is doable very frequently. The front driver will try to cover the inside. The outside move is doable, but very, very risky. If you step wrong, you're in the grass and in the wall. So we may see some attempts there as the red mist starts flowing. Nothing there so far, but it can add some excitement late in the race when drivers are really wanting to get something going.
Yeah, and contact's very possible through there as well, because different drivers have different lines where someone might take the first apex and go quite wide mid-corner to open up the second part, and some drivers may stay a bit more tight. And so if you are going around the outside, oh no! Ooh. Are we going to avoid this one? The car ahead wasn't so lucky. We're on board with Schuttler, and that was nasty right there. Let's try to get a replay of what just happened. Was it Svensson who had that spin?
Yeah, it may have been.
Svensson
we'll take
maybe
a look.
Trying to have to avoid. Oh, sorry. So Svensson had to try to avoid. It was Dustin Rinker, wasn't it? It was Dustin.
Yeah, it was that multicolored Lambo, and that's one of those things we talked about in the open. The car gets very, very light coming over that corner. You get a commit early, and you're on the ragged edge. And I told you we'd see some cars in the grass right there. Already collected a couple, and very unfortunate spin there. Oh, he had help. He had help from one of his competitors.
Yeah,
got knocked off and collected another car in the process. So a little scrapping there, leading to some bloody noses across that very difficult turn 2.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was Baseggio's fault, because the car ahead did have a slide. Loveridge is going to lose a place here. Nope, we're all right. We're still ahead. That was
quite a dive there. That's the view from the back of Loveridge's car, looking back at May, who took a stab in the second part of Moss 5B there. Looked like he might be able to get something going, but Loveridge able to get a good drive out of the corner. You see these cars hanging on the right side of the back straight. Rumor has it that that's less hilly, if you can believe that, less of an incline than the outside. And that's why you see the cars kind of lining up as they head into turn 8. And almost a contested entry there. Nose being shown on the entry to 8, but they get back in line.
Yes, this is all behind Wazowski right now, with a B3 having to hold off Aidan Young. Of course, Abithi is going to be driving, I think, in ARL Endurance, which starts on Friday. Really excited about that. We've got 55 out of 60 spots filled, so if you want to race in the GTP, the LMP2 or GT3 classes, you can still sign up. So just sign up in the next couple of days and we can get you on the grid for round 1. Like I said, only 5 spots out of 60 are still available, so try to do it immediately, because you don't know, they might be all taken by tomorrow morning. So yeah, do head over to apexracingleague.com. You can also sign up for this championship or our Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship as well, which is so much fun on Thursday night. So we're currently in a summer break for that, but that will be coming back at the end of the month. And also our Fox Tech McLaren GT3 series as well. Check that out. That's all on apexracingleague.com.
Yeah, and meanwhile, up front, it is still Kirkapa from Leitner from Steinhoff, and Leitner and Steinhoff doing a little scrapping, allowing Kirkapa to drive off a little bit here. That gap extended up to 1.3 seconds, and Pro-Am, it's Nurmi from Paluk from Denyasenko, and Nurmi enjoying a pretty good gap. He's got about 3 seconds back to Paluk in P2 and a couple of pros in Paluk's way. So Nurmi definitely capitalizing on that good qualifying run, and in Amit's Rampazzo looking to win 5 in a row, sitting in P1 in class, P19 overall. Probably doesn't care too much about that. He's got about a 5-second gap back to Rogers. So a lot of the usual suspects hang around at the front of the grid, taking a look at Nurmi mentioned there. And there is Rampazzo, who is doing a good job wheeling his car around. And as I said, undefeated so far in this young season, but 4 in a row, looking to make it 5 here in Canada.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to Rogers, because he's down quite a few places, so this might give us an idea. Oh, big slide, and that's quite a big hard hit into the wall, isn't it? Crucially hitting the corner of his car as well, but he hasn't had to take repairs. If we go back to live images, then we can get an onboard of what his steering is like. Because when I looked at that, I thought that's probably a pit lane, or probably repairs he's going to need to take, but that steering seems straight.
Wow, then that M4 GT3, an absolute tank, takes a huge hit right on the corner there, and at least the way it's being shown to us by the sim, no body damage and no steering damage, as Sam just showed you there. So Rogers probably not happy about that. Lost 11 positions, now sitting in P23, but at least he's still running. Well, right along here with Caserta is looking forward at Guarneri, and he's looking back at Bari there. That is the battle for 25, as some of these cars training up here. That difficult braking zone into Moss, as you see that bends close down. It seems like those Mercedes are pretty good under braking there, Sam, into that Moss corner. We've seen a few noses in and a couple pass attempts by them on the exit of that one. So these Mercedes are dialed into that difficult camber changes involved right there.
Yeah, I think the two go-to cars at the moment in the GT3s are the McLarens and the Mercedes. We had a lot of drive. We had a period where the drivers could change car freely at the start of the season, because obviously with the new tyre model, the cars have radically changed for this iRacing season. But that has now ended, so the last opportunity they had to change was the race before, what was for Spa, which was last week. Now they are fixed for their car for the rest of the season, unless they're willing to take a penalty. They can take a 50-point penalty and change their car, albeit only once, to the end of the season. And we had a lot of drivers change to the McLaren and the Mercedes. The Mercedes has been quite weak, I think, in recent seasons, so it's good to see that a little bit more competitive now. So I think we've just had Sergio Bayo actually just overtake Stephen David. A mistake for David.
And yeah, that is the run. Looks like we're running down the hill here. And the outside move, oh my goodness, that takes commitment, and that takes some stones to make something happen there. That's another one of those places, you know, Mosport, so diabolical. So many high-speed corners where the car lightens up right across the apex, and you really have to commit. And any kind of little bump or miscalculation there sends the cars off. And taking a look at Abajo there, he's got David behind him, polishing his bumper in another one of those Mercedes. And yeah, interesting mix of cars out here, Sam, and I'll go ahead and expose myself as a Porsche fan. Oh, and there's Aiden Young stuffing it inside of turn 3 there, and I don't know if he was the same driver that made that move before, but a couple of guys pouncing right there. Not a typical spot, and they're still side by side, and look at Young slam the door there. And if you've watched a lot of iRacing esports, you know the name of Aiden Young. Not shy at all, and absolutely slamming the door in the face of Urbizu there in his M4, and that will put Young up to P12. I'm not sure, where did he start? Yeah, Young has been picking his way through the field. He's up 4 right now.
Yeah, that move that we saw earlier on, ironically, was from Bokler, who is, of course, a Delachaz car, and it's his teammate Obith who's just been done there by that exact same move. So nice work for Aiden Young, who, yeah, like you said earlier on, won the race 2 at Sonoma, the reverse grid. And I think that was his first race win, I want to say, in Apex Racing League GT3 Trophy. But it's awesome to see how much Aiden has improved over the past couple of years. He's now up to the lofty heights of 7.7k in iRating, and that is one of the highest in the series. In fact, I'm looking down here. I think that is the highest of anyone on track today. I'm not sure if there's someone missing today, but yeah, 7.3 for the leader car, because that shows how good Aiden Young is. So he'll be a little bit disappointed, I guess, to be down in 12th place, but it is such a competitive field, and yeah, once you are down in the pack and qualifying P16 like he did, it's very tricky to make your progress up around a circuit like this.
And you mentioned car selection, and Young is alone with that BMW. The next BMW is Rogers back in P23, so he's getting a lot out of that M4 GT3 right now. And looking back, here's Urbizu looking back at Young, and this is a replay of that move into turn 3.
This is live. Winkler is trying to get past him next, so Urbizu is falling down the order a little bit, and Winkler not able to get past. Then they got Jan Volmers, the other course sim racing driver, only just behind as well. And how does Utortus is catching up to these guys? Very disappointing day for Utortus so far. He was our winner last time out, and he's down in 16th place today. Don't know what's happening with Utortus, but he will be, yeah, at least he's up 6 places from his race start, but yeah, really faltered in qualifying.
Yeah, and I've interrupted myself. One last comment about car selection. Any Porsche fans out there, you've got 2 992 GT3s out there, and they're running in 31 and 34 right now. So if you're a 911 driver such as myself, it may be time to go browsing in the iRacing store and maybe try to find something a little competitive. And Porsche fans probably disappointed by how that 911 fared after the redo, the overhaul of the GT3s, and I actually have heard some grumbling online about that, so we may be seeing some tweaks in upcoming seasons. And Sam, taking a look up front as we watch Alec Rogers on the Andretti straight here. Looks like Leitner has been able to reel in Kirkupa a little bit. Kirkupa had stretched that gap out to about 1.5 seconds. Leitner now has him down to about 0.8, and that is that is a Mercedes chasing down a Mustang up front, and the Mustang's reputed to be a little tough on tires. Oh my goodness, camera shy and the commentators curse combined there. There goes Leitner off into the dirt. So never mind that gap closing down. But these Mustangs, Sam, have been reputed to be a little tough on the front tires, and this may be about the time in the race where we see whether or not that is true.
Yeah, let's see this mistake then from Leitner. Just a bit greedy on the throttle, and then he realizes it too late and then gets on that bump as well. I mean, that's the tricky thing with this circuit. It used to be way worse, not to be back in my day about this or anything, but back in my day, it was the grass was 1/3 as grippy as what it is now. Grass is grippy now. So you used to put a wheel onto that grass and you'd just spin like instantly, especially if you just caught it a little bit. Nowadays, you get a lot more forgiving from it, but yeah, it wasn't forgiving enough there for Leitner, and that he drops down to 3rd place. It's his teammate that he loses out to, at least. But let's compare these guys' lap times, shall we? I'll get that lap time history back on, and yeah, it's fairly even. A little bit one way, then a little bit the other. The last 5 laps have been pretty much maintaining the gap this time.
Yeah, and Kirkupa, your fast lap man right now, 1:15. 1:08, and you know, recall qualifying, we had a couple of drivers dipping into the 1:14. So as fuel burns down, we're probably going to see that happening here. And as I told you, that pit window is going to open now in about 5 minutes, I'm going to say, where they'll need to take on, I think, about 40 liters. And running it dry, as I said, we'll run these cars about 35 minutes into this one. So we'll see. We'll be seeing soon whether anybody wants to try an undercut here. There's a few drivers who lost positions. Rogers is one of them. Fox is one of them. And one of the easiest ways, if you got pace, to make up for those big losses is to go ahead and try that undercut. And here is May. Oh my goodness. And that McLaren washing out a little bit there. I think May thought he was clear, but Sam, there's your grippy grass, allowing that car back onto the track a little quicker maybe than May thought it was going to be there. And bam, door-to-door contact. It doesn't look like that car is any worse for the wear, but ouch, you don't like to see that kind of hard contact this early.
Yeah, that was Matt Loveridge who made the mistake, and yeah, nothing wrong by May. I think, I mean, Loveridge could, I don't think he'll get in trouble for that, but obviously he was like basically off the track, and so you need to make sure you rejoin safely, and he went straight for the apex, despite a car moving alongside him, so wouldn't be shocked if there's a protest submitted for that one, but I think he'll be alright from it. I think genuinely the drivers have enough on their minds anyway that they tend to forget stuff like that 40 minutes after it happens, and that's when the race is going to be ending. Here's Leon Mishka having a tough time of it today, but he is up 4 places, and he might be up a 5th place soon because he's got the Ukrainian driver Pavle Denisenko just ahead of him, and Mishka moves ahead into P9. Denisenko, I think, having respect for the man who is the reigning champion in this series.
Yeah, Denisenko wanted nothing to do with that, left that door wide open, and still got a little bit sketchy on that line through turn 8. And as Sam said, the grass a little more forgiving than it used to be, but you still want to stay out of that grass there in turn 8. You're coming down out of 5th into 4th and going pretty fast, and a wheel off there could lead to terminal damage. And is that Aiden Young sniffing around behind Wasowski now? And my goodness, Aiden Young was really showing something here. Wasowski actually has also moved up 4 positions, so both of those drivers up 4, and they're among the hard chargers toward the top of the grid, although Mishki up 5 right now. And look at Young, oh, almost a little smooch right there. Doesn't want Wasowski to forget that he's there, and we'll see what happens at the end of the straightaway between those two.
Mistake for Dominic Enkel, and it has dropped him well down the order. I looked away there just as that happened. I thought it was going to happen in turn 3, but no, he lost it on the exit of T2. And is he stuck in the barrier? He got out eventually, but he can pit now and get to the end of the race at least. But yeah, very disappointing day for Dominic Enkel. He was, yeah, was in racing so strong last time out. And yeah, Enkel probably with damage after that incident.
Yeah, Engel looked like he was definitely fighting that car to get it down the road. So, so treacherous right there. And it's not just the us drivers in the sim, real life drivers. There have been some huge wrecks there over the years at Mosport. And Wasowski now looking back at Young, that gap has grown a little bit, grown up to about 0.6. Last time through here, Young was all over the back of that Mercedes like the plastic on Grandma's couch, but that has widened out a little bit. And speaking of Alex Rogers, watching him roll through, trying to recover from his mistake earlier. And Sam, really am looking for him to dive into the pits at the first opportunity and try to get some kind of undercut going after losing 10 positions from his bobble earlier on.
Yeah, let's see if he's got get some closer angles, see if we can see any damage. I don't see any damage on that car despite hitting the wall earlier on, which is yeah, absolutely crazy. As the Italians are nice to each other. Caserta was let past by Guarini, which was very generous, so get some support from the fellow countrymen. Rogers being caught a lot by Edwards on that back straight. Edwards just needs to be within maybe a quarter of a second coming out of Moss Corner, and he should have a good run. Does Rogers pit on this lap? No, he's going to stay out for another one. Of course, part of the issue with pitting around a circuit like this, if you pit, I think you're pretty much going to come out a lap down, and then you've got all the leaders lapping you, and that loses you a lot of time, especially seeing that you are supposed to let them past in this series. And so some of these back markers, I think, are going to try to stay out for as long as they possibly can. Not back markers, midfielders. Are going to try to stay out as long as they can, just so they don't have to deal with those blue flags.
Yeah, too right. And a little view of Roger's webcam there, and how can you not note those driving gloves matching the livery on that M4, looking pretty sweet. And yeah, 25 minutes in, as I said, by my calculations, pit window open now. So anybody trying an undercut, we should be seeing them dive in now. So keep an eye on Rogers. And meanwhile, up front, Kirkipa enjoying his track day. A little mistake there that you saw by Leitner lap or two ago. That lap from Kirkipa to Steinhoff, now 1.7. And are we going to see that outside move by this AMG Mercedes into turn 8? Yeah, and Greeny completely backing out of that. Did not want to contest Bari there, as Bari stuffing that around the outside. And yeah, true to form, Rogers is going to try the uppercut. Oh,
man. There's no need for that. Here. I mean, I know that it's competitive out there, but I mean, that's not explicitly stated, but like that goes without question that you can't just knock on one of the driver's doors and pull out a Mike Tyson on someone. Oh, talking of Mike Tyson, that was very aggressive from Wazowski, but Young is passed, so he had to work for that one, but he is up to 11th place.
And Aiden Young drifting the night away there. And folks, that looks pretty sweet and shows some good car control, but those back tires are not happy about that at all. And that may cost Young a little bit of entry speed here into turn 8. When you roast them like that, you got to breathe them a little bit to let that grip come back. And that high speed turn 8 is not the place where you want to back out of it, as looking back now at Wiskowski from Young's rear bumper. And Sam's going to let us take another look at this epic move down here into Moss. Young showing some aggression here.
Oh, so he went for that same move again. What a lovely move that was. That's so good. And then it was actually the comeback from Wazowski, who had to go the extra distance around the outside here, but still had a good shot at it. Going into Moss corner, got his car enough alongside, and then it was Wazowski sort of making a mistake actually. And Young did a brilliant job. There was contact between the two of them. And yeah, I think that flashing of the headlights wasn't an annoyance, that was an apology, a well done on not making contact with me.
Yeah, absolutely. A little sorry mate headlight flash from that Mercedes, and now Young sitting pretty. He's got one car to push into the top 10 currently, sitting in P11, up 5 from his qualifying position, and rivaling Mishki for the hard charger up top. And is that a move there? Is that Urbizu getting
just
past? Oh, defending against Winkler and Volmers right there, and they are all over him. So Urbizu might be driving a little bit in his rearview mirror right now. And we got some more cars coming in. That is Wasowski, and he is... Yeah, he's coming a little early, Sam.
Yeah, he's just made a mistake.
By my view.
Yeah. So yeah, he was the one who was overtaken, of course, by Young before, and now he's just made a mistake. Oh! Okay, that was an attempt at the Young move from a B3, wasn't it? But that one wasn't so good.
Yeah, and Wasowski, that costly early pit stop here, and we'll see whether or not he's going to be taking repairs. And tell me, Sam, do these guys have a fast repair on tap here?
Yeah.
Okay, so Wasowski...
He was only stationary for 2 seconds according to my screen. I think that's a glitch on my screen, but it's coming up as 2 seconds. I think that's wrong though, because his actual pit stop, like time in the pit lane, was all right. So yeah, he's fine. He'll go to the end, and yeah. Oh no, he's not fine. He's off the track.
Yeah, I'm showing 2 seconds as well, and I mean, just watching it, it didn't seem like he was in there long enough to take on 40 liters of fuel. Did he just take the fast repair and keep going there? If he did, he's going to be back in about 5 or 6 minutes, as the normal pit cycle, we'll call it the run it dry cycle, is going to be underway. See Loveridge here. He's got that car up on jacks. He's taking fuel and tires right here. Not sure if the 40-liter fuel load will cover all 4 tires, but here at Mosport, I think I would consider taking right side. And if we get a chance to talk to some of these drivers after, we'll see what they did about tire selection.
Yeah, so that was definitely just, probably left side tyres there, I think. But that's risky. I mean, like at Spa, we saw the drivers go 75 minutes without taking any tyres. That was the popular strategy. You can see how tricky it is on cold tyres nowadays on iRacing, and Loveridge will probably be overtaken here. So the tyre wear is so much on the left tyres that they actually feel like it's better to take left tyres and be very slow and very sketchy coming out of the pits and potentially lose track position, but you'll be that much faster at the end of the race. So yeah, let's see if the others do that now. It'll be very interesting, but yeah, you definitely can't take enough fuel to sort of cover it. If you take all 4 tyres, you'll be stationary for an extra 6 seconds or so.
Yeah, I like left side tires here, but you saw the result there. The car is very, very unstable under braking, and the left tires are so heavily loaded. Whoa, as you see the 911 doing that rear engine thing coming over turn 3. And speaking of roasted tires, the tires on that 911 not happy at all right now. But yeah, you saw Loveridge kind of fighting that thing, fighting it to get it woed up, fighting around that low-speed right-hander of Moss, where those left-hand tires are so critical. So definitely a small sacrifice to get them warmed up, but I think probably at this track worthwhile down the stretch.
Yeah. If you can make the moves, I mean that's the thing. Like if you're just going to get stuck, then it might not be worth it. But yeah, if you feel confident enough that you can overtake later on in the race and make up that track position that you're going to lose, then yeah, you can go for it. And of course, if you are going to take tyres, you need to pit. It's probably better to pit a bit early so that you get the benefit of the fresh tyres. You don't want to go to 40 minutes because then you get 40 minutes on one set of tyres and only 20 minutes on another set of tyres. You're not really taking full use of the new set of tyres. So anyone who is staying out right now, I feel like I'm probably just going to not change tyres. So I feel like the 2-tyre strat is probably the unpopular one. And, well, yeah, maybe we'll see an awesome comeback from him later on. Let's see what happens. We're watching Denisenko currently, and Aiden Young going for another move. This is the hat trick that he's going for, and he has done it. He loves that move, and he's up to P9.
Oh, I would not want Aiden Young behind me. I mean, he has, I mean, it's aggression, Sam, but it's tamed aggression, and it's kind of logical aggression. Knows where to stick it in, knows the limits of that M4 under braking, and as we mentioned before, I mean, he's making that M4 do what other drivers are not able to. And if you look at our makes there on our SDK timing tower on the left, it is all Ford, Mercedes, except for that lone BMW through the first 13 positions. So Young really showing his stuff right here and wheeling that BMW like an expert.
I'll give another shout out to Apex Racing Academy. Do check out apexracingac.com if you want to get setups for these GT3 cars. They're designed by some of the best drivers in the world. Alejandro Sanchez does a few of these cars, including the Mercedes GT3. We've also got absolutely great drivers like Luca Kita as well, covering a bunch of these cars. So yeah, really the best setups and best track guys that you can possibly get in iRacing. Do check them out at apexracingac.com and get yourself a subscription.
Yeah, we'll take a look at Grossman right now. Grossman seeing if he can get that McLaren up past Magelda there and battle for P15. And if you like to keep track of makes, Grossman the fastest McLaren out on track right now. You see him close there in Moss Corner, and that BMW pulling out of there with just a little bit more grunt. And there is Kirkapa going into the pits. So my napkin calculations were right. I think the pit sequence is starting right now. That is Kirkapa, Beckler, May all in pit lane, and we'll keep an eye on this car, see whether or not it goes up on jacks or just takes fuel as he gets the pole sitters. Yeah, and up we go. So the pole sitter and leader taking right side tires. You see that Benz in the background taking tires as well. So, or left side, I should say. So the left side tire strategy, pretty popular at Mosport. You're seeing a lot of these drivers do it. And of course, it is risk reward. Very tricky to drive it while those lefts get hot. and very quick by Kirkupa coming out, but he's going to come out into some slow traffic, so we'll be dealing with about the mid-pack here while he's dealing with getting some heat in those left-hand tires.
I'm really surprised Kirkupa went for that, unless that is something that everyone's doing, because Steinhoff is in the lead here if he doesn't take tires. Like, there's no way Kirkupa can defend from Steinhoff, because you can see he's dropping back from, I think that's Jamie Edwards, just in front of him. He's going to be so slow on this first lap that, yeah, if he's given up track position, and of course that shows that he's very confident in his own pace and that he can make up that later on. But yeah, that's a big thing to give up around a circuit like this. Mikko Nurmi's the next into the pits, and these guys not taking the whole tank of fuel. They're pitting a bit early in order to get that full use of the new tyres, like I was mentioning earlier on. And let's see if these guys take left side tyres as well. It looks like they are.
Yeah, it looks like it's going on up and down pit lane. You see those air jacks getting plugged in and those cars hopping up off of the tarmac. And meanwhile, check out Steinhoff up front. He might have been employing some fuel saving up front, and with his teammate Leitner right behind there. So interesting to see what they have there up their sleeve. And when they go in, of course, all eyes will be on your previous leader to see where he comes out in traffic. And it yeah, it does appear so far. I haven't seen anybody pit yet without taking those left-hand side tires. So looks like that's the play here today at Mosport.
Yeah, it looks like at the moment, let's see. Oh, okay, so this is the moment of truth. This is the moment of truth. Will the impulse cars take tyres, or are they going to not take tyres and take track position? This is going to be very, very important. I'm hoping they're not going to take tyres. I'll be really disappointed if we're about to see these cars magically go up in the air. Oh, he's overshot it! Oh no, well, I'm doubly disappointed because he's overshot it and he's on the jacks. My day is ruined. So they are, so clearly the tyre wear is just too much, isn't it? It is quite a warm circuit, it's like 40 degrees. But yeah, they took it, but this might be a change for second position. Oh, they're always on top of another. We do have a change for second position. Where's the lead? Where's the former leader though? Kirkupa is behind these guys, but of course he's got warm tyres. So Steinhoff should have been in the lead. Leitner now leads, and Kirkupa has got some catching up to do. His pit stop was 1.5 seconds longer than Leitner's pit stop, so he may have lost the lead here. Impulse may have pulled off that fuel saving that you were mentioning before, and might be leading this race right now.
Yeah, and man, oh man, that pro tip, kids, you got to practice your pit stops. I'm shocked to see folks at this level kind of blow the pit entry there, and we'll stay with Kirkupa here for a second. Now is his chance. Those two AMG Mercedes in front of him both have cold tires on one side. They're not going to be able to hit turn 8 here as fast as they would want. They're not going to be able to hit turn 1 as fast as they would want. So Kirkupa needs to strike now while the iron is hot and needs to light the wick right here. And looking at him, he's got about a half-second gap up ahead. You see that gap dropping as those Mercedes struggle for grip in turn 8 here, and it may all come down to this, Sam. Is Kirkupa going to be able to make something happen on this lap when he has the tire temp advantage?
Well, every corner that he doesn't get past is going to become trickier for him, but here comes the run. What a run he's got! And the Finnish driver goes to the outside. This is the one corner where the impulse cars might be able to keep up. But even there, Kirkupa is able to get past, so he's got one of the impulse cars. He's now got to try to get the other one. But Leitner's tyres are coming up to temperature. Around a short circuit like this, it's probably going to take about 3 laps for them to be perfect. And so Kirkupa's maybe got a little bit more time, but I'm fancying Leitner's chances here, because Kirkupa is really going to struggle to get the overspeeds to do this now. Gap is down to half a second.
Kirkupa stuffing it down the inside of Steinhoff there. He absolutely had to make that happen right there if he had any chance to win, and rolled the dice and made it happen. And that gap up to Leitner. Leitner surviving this so far on half hot, half cold tires. You see that gap come down a little bit. Turn 8 is where it rears its head the most, but it hasn't come down a lot here. And Leitner has got to be feeling this potentially slipping away from him. And not to put too fine a point on it, but he's got Leitner ahead, and he also has Steinhoff, Leitner's teammate, behind. So he's got to keep that in mind as well. And Leitner may have pulled something off here with just a little bit of fuel saving. So fuel strategy in a field like this, if you can save half a second is really all it takes for the victory. And Leitner looking good right now. Kirkapa does have that gap down to about 3/10. But I'll tell you what, Sam, a few years back, they really changed the slipstream of these GT3s. This kind of gap would have been enough to contest the entry to turn 8 in the old days, speaking of back in my day, but really doesn't have these cars don't have the draft that they used to.
You're absolutely right. And Leitner's all right now. Like, he's got those tires almost to where he needs them to be. So it is just going to be a straight race now. And yeah, I mean, look at that. I mean, he wasn't far behind coming out of Mosport, right? And yet that was absolutely fine down the straight, no pressure whatsoever. So yeah, Leitner's the overwhelming favourite to win this race now. And yeah, not really anything wrong that Kirkapa did. I mean, really, Steinhoff should be leading right now. If Steinhoff didn't overshoot his pit stop, he would have been out in the lead right now. Instead, it's turned into a P3, so he'll be infuriated with himself. There's been a few other changes. Leon Mishka has gone up 8 places, so he's really done well during that sequence. He had a short pit stop, did Mishka, and he also went further than pretty much anyone else. Only Melger went further, as I think Make Palach may have had an issue. There he is. We'll get a replay. Yes, he needs to take out his own teammate. New damage model, maybe? Or need contact model? Yeah, hits the back of the car head, and that spins around the... Oh, and he needs to take out his teammate twice, because this second rejoin wasn't good either.
Yeah, not at all. And you see Palach there kind of keeping his foot in it there, and a little bit of frustration there, getting tapped from behind, coming on to the front straight, and very costly for Palach. He was sitting at or near the top 10 and plummeting now. That will put him down into, actually sitting at P. Well, he qualified in P7, so his last 13 positions, so not the way he wanted his race to turn out down the stretch here with about 18 minutes remaining. And yeah, you're right, Leitner sitting pretty right now. The last time he went into turn 8 with Kirkapa behind, that gap grew there in turn 8. So any kind of problems he was having with left-hand side grip, gone. And Kirkapa needs a miracle or some help from traffic if he's going to save himself here.
Caserta is still slightly cooler tyres right now. Caserta's up 14 places, the pro driver. Rogers had a crash earlier on and is down 10 places. Amateur leader is Rampazzo. We can get up the class display to show you who's the leader in each of the classes there. And also the strength of field, because I know a lot of people are curious about that. It's Stack Series. This is the most competitive GT3 trophy we've ever had. And you can see by it there, 6.4 average to get into the pros. And that's like a mean average rather than a median, I believe. As here comes a move for one of the Core Sim Racing drivers, and maybe two of the Core Sim Racing drivers, because Rampazzo shoved out the way, and now his lead over Rogers is that much smaller.
Ooh. Absolute mugging there as Mercedes opening the door there for his teammate in another make, and Rampazzo, ouch. Still looking okay though. He's got about a 5-second gap to P2 in class Rogers, but absolutely got mugged there, and might have preferred to kind of breathe the throttle and let those guys through on the straightaway, but they weren't having it. As we look at Cialfi there doing a little lawn mowing in that Lambo, and oh my goodness, almost causing a catastrophe there. Speaking of re-entries, and Cialfi ouch. I don't even know what to say about that.
We've had some, yeah, it's so tricky, even with the grass how it is now. I mean, before, if you hit the grass at T2, you're just in the wall. Like oh no, that is Palach. Whoa, bad day for Palach. He nearly won last time out as well. What a change we've had, because of course your Tortoise nearly won, or did win last time out. Didn't nearly, and he's down in 14th right now. He is 27 seconds off the lead, so yeah, real change in pace from Spa to here. But of course at Spa the drivers were able to do a lot of practice because of the Spa 24, which is coming up later that week. And so I think a lot of the drivers have done a lot of hours and around this Mosport circuit. Of course it is in the officials for last week, but obviously with Spa going on, not a whole lot of attention given to it, so I think that might explain why we've got a little bit of a mix-up grid, as that's an ambitious move there from Wazowski. He's passed Abayo.
And Abayo is going to find some of that sky blue paint on his door the next time he gets back to the pits. And Wazowski a little impatient there, stuffing it in on that is turn 10 onto the pit straight. And Wazowski right now has finally regained his qualifying position. Things not going awesome for him right now, and looks like he's just reached the top 10 in the pro class. About 14 minutes remaining now, and up front it is still Leitner from Kurkapa from Steinhoff, and Leitner doing a good job maintaining that gap. It's been about 0.5 for the last 3, 4, 5 laps. Kurkapa still hanging in there, but riding behind somebody 5/10 back is certainly not passing him. And here comes Aiden Young. He's going to try the outside of 8. I've been waiting for this, and there it is, folks. The outside pass into turn 8 is doable, and Young showing how it's done right there, pushing it through on Urbizu to get back into the top 10. He was running in P9 during the pit sequence, his highest position, now back into P10, and he is up 6. So hell of a drive from Aiden Young. And speaking of hard chargers, Mishki now up 8, sitting in P number 6.
Yeah, that was Young actually being overtaken by Winkler. Winkler was the one demonstrating how to pass in that corner. So yeah, great speed for the Mercedes driver right now. He was able to go further than anyone else on a tank of fuel. And yeah, Young needs to pull out those turn 3 moves again in order to make up those places again. And you're absolutely right about Michika. Really the big gainer in that pit stop sequence, saved a lot of fuel. And yeah, looking good for it now. Yeah, what is going on with Young? I know he had a bit of contact before the pit stop, didn't he? And he's falling backwards now. Not got a whole lot of straight line speed either. And
yeah, he is. And yeah, when you see that, you wonder about Aero, and is this Urbizu taking a look around the outside? A little hip check by Young there. Sees Urbizu testing the outside of turn 8 and kind of closes the door on him, and just a little smooch there. So things getting a little racy here down the stretch. And here you see Abajo taking that outside move into... or is that Volmer's on Abajo taking that outside move into turn 8? And I told you that, Sam, when this one started getting a little tense toward the end, that more drivers were going to be willing to try that outside entry into turn 8. And we've seen it a couple times in the last couple of laps.
Yeah, the course sim racing drivers are the ones who's getting their elbows out now. We've got quite a few moves actually, even though the tyres feel like are warmed up now. We've got this one as well a little bit further back. Pazzo holding back Palach a bit. Of course, Palach did have various incidents today which have forced him onto the outskirts of the top 20. Aiden Young is in another one, and again he's not got great straight line speed, so Abithu will have another go at it. He is behind going into this corner by just 0.02 of a second. Now he gets his nose ahead as they go onto the brakes. They got a Cordyce esports car as well, who might decide this battle, and it does decide the battle. Young able to get past a bit, maybe. The cutback might be possible here for Abithu going into T1.
Oh my goodness, and that I guess that's a McLaren there. Young tried to use that back marker to scrape off Urbizu, and I thought that he had it 10. I thought he'd come out of turn 10 in front of that lap car, but wasn't able to do it. That's Cialfi there, probably not really where he wants to be at this point in the race, with the leaders all over him, flashing lights, and I know that he knew that he was involved in that fight and probably didn't want to be, but turn 10 there's not a lot of places you can go. Did his best to get out of the way as soon as he got into the pit straight. But Young still leading Urbizu now, and that gap 0.3, and we're going to head on to the back straight one more time as these laps so fast here at Mosport, and can take a look at our timing tower and watch that gap falling. It's about 0.25 right now, and you got to think whenever you see a car losing speed on the straight, you think potential aero damage, and the gap continuing to drop. It's 0.1 now, and we'll see what Urbizu do. He's going to show his nose on the outside, not quite close enough this time, and you don't want to play around out there too much, Sam. Speaking of tires, and is he going to try to stuff it through turn 10? Oh my goodness, lulled me and Young to sleep right there. Tries turn 10, a little door banging, and back nose to tail on the front straight, and a very nice attempted move there by Urbizu, and great driving, of course, by both of these drivers.
Man, that was so close. And look at Denisenko, he's got the best view of this now. Yeah, these guys are losing each other over half a second a lap by all this battling. Because Abithi hasn't got it done, he might be vulnerable to the attacks from behind now. So he heads through this middle part of the lap. Abithi almost thought about it into Moss corner, it looked like there, but he's slow mid-corner. Denisenko thinks about it. Actually, a little bit further back this time is Abithi, so he's not going to have a chance. Matt Loveridge seems to be struggling a little bit further up the road as well. Because Carl Winkler's, I mean, remember, Winkler got past Young just a few laps ago, and Young's now 4.5 seconds behind, so Winkler with great pace in the second part of this race. Loveridge pitted quite early, so he will have slightly older left side tyres, not by a huge amount, but it might just be costing him a tenth or two, and that might be all that Winkler needs to move up another place. But yeah, Winkler's basically matching the leaders now. He's really got nice pace as the Pro-Am late on in this Mosport event.
Yeah, and it's a little easier when the competitors behind you are fighting. Winkler has dropped Young to the tune of almost 5 seconds at this point, so he can be eyes ahead and not worry about behind. And speaking of worry about behind, here's Leitner's view back at Kirkapa now. Kirkapa has got that gap down to 0.2, and we were talking about the Mustang on the tires, and Kirkapa may be showing that his car is doing just fine on tires right now with 8 minutes remaining. And look at that gap falling. It's down to 0.1 by the time they get to the end of the Andretti straightaway. And Kirkapa right now looking forward at Leitner, kind of planning his moves. He's going to show his nose on the inside of turn 10. Oh my goodness. And certainly dramatic, and certainly has a psychological impact, Sam, to poke your nose in right there. But your tires are not going to love the recovery from poking your nose through and taking a bad line right there, especially in that low speed turn 10. So Kirkova doesn't want to do that a bunch more times unless he really means business.
Yeah, and you don't want to give up, you know, where you're looking to overtake. I mean, obviously, you got the end of the back straight, that's where most overtakes are made, but you got those sort of mugging corners as well with turn 3 and the final corner as well. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything through the middle part of Moss. That's really the only other place he could get it done. I don't think he'll get that car to turn enough. Bit of a slide for Leitner, and this could be a chance here, 0.2 of a second. I think they're going to be alongside at the end of the straight.
Yeah, Leitner not getting a good exit there. You saw the rear tires on that AMG Mercedes breaking loose here. Kirkapa with a run, and Leitner will cover the inside. And am I going to see my favorite move here outside of turn 8? No, Kirkapa thinks better of it, but he may be plotting, planning, and intending to set up that big dive into turn 10. No, not quite. Leitner holds him off, but tick, tick, ticks, and we're getting down to crunch time here. Only about 6.5 minutes remaining in this one, and Leitner hanging on so far, but Kirkapa all over him right now, and you see Leitner still fighting that rear grip, and that V8 torque might be doing a number on the rear tires of that Benz, because Leitner looks like he has the overall superior grip right now.
Yeah, so close between these two. And it's just going to take a moment of inspiration from Mosport. But I think he's really struggling for straight line speed like that. That car, even in the first stint, looked like he was a bit vulnerable down the straights. The impulse cars never got close enough to take the advantage of that. But even when he's in the draft here, he just doesn't seem to be making any impression. 0.24 is the gap, now 0.23, 0.22, so he's getting 200ths of a second down the first, 200 meters of the straight. It's just not really doing a whole lot, and by the end of the straight, he's gained a 10th. That's it. And maybe that's due to a tailwind, I don't know, but it's really not working for him at the moment. And so he needs to be a bit closer to pull off that surprise move into the final corner.
Yeah, just harkening back to the old draft on these GT3 cars, it would have blown his doors off a couple years ago, but iRacing dialing back that little bit of arrow. Leitner still has a chance here, but he's running out of chances. If he's going to make something happen, needs to make a move here before too much longer.
I tried to dart away, but then it went down to a 10th between these two. It's been a move a little bit further back. There's some good battles actually going on towards the end of the race, so apologies if we're not going to catch them all, but this is so big between these two. Leitner, of course, going for the championship as well. Kirkhope third place in the championship. He would be losing points if it ended like this, as he's a little bit closer than he was on the last lap, but barely in close. We've got a back marker as well ahead. It's Glenn Gronzalez, and that should be the only back marker they had to deal with before the end of the race.
Yeah, and back markers giveth, and back markers taketh away. And will Leitner be able to scrape Kirkhope off here? Depends on when they reach this driver ahead and what this driver ahead intends to do. Kirkhope again waiting. He had been showing his nose there a couple times in turn 10 and maybe decided that move wasn't going to work out, but that gap awfully close down to 0.15, and you see Loveridge there. Is that Loveridge losing another spot?
Yeah,
We're kept an eye on him as an early pitter and an early indicator of that left-hand tire strategy, and he may be running out of tires now with about 4.5 minutes remaining, 3.5.
Pallet's trying to go the long way round Abayo, but Abayo's got good speed. Seen two Core Sim Racing trials, I think, pull off this move so far. Abayo did not help. Well, I think there was a bit of like, oh no, come on guys, get through it. Can they? Oh man, they've got, he's done it. He's done it. Wow. Okay, get away, mate. Otherwise, Sergio will have to send it again. I think there was a bit of contact and it sort of pushed Abayo into the other car. Is that how does Tortsus making a mistake? And they both get past Tortsus now. Blimey, well, what a move that is from Pallet. As Abayo's now sent it wide. Well, he leads out to Tortsus. No, he's just got enough exit speed to hang on to that one. I think they're struggling now with the tyres towards the end of the race, even though I guess the right side tyres are absolutely done. But the left side tyres are getting pretty old as well at this point.
And that move by Pallet, that's got to be on the highlight reel, if nothing other than to show the weird physics that can happen in iRacing. That Mustang inside the other car there briefly coming out of turn 10 due to net code. But here we are back up front. That's Leitner from Kirkhope, and tick, tick, tick. Time running out if Kirkhope is going to make something happen here. That gap seems to be growing a little bit here, Sam. Now it's 3,500s heading down into Moss. We'll see if Kirkhope can close him down any right here. But running out of opportunities, we may be looking at the penultimate lap right here. And as they exit Moss onto the Andretti straight, that gap up 3,500s right now. So it looks like barring disaster, barring some kind of entanglement with back markers, that Leitner is going to get this one. And he and his teammate managed this through fuel saving. And speaking of his teammate, Steinhoff still hanging around in the background, but you know he's got a bitter taste in his mouth. Overshot his pit stall. It should be Steinhoff in first, with Kirkhope distant third, back behind Leitner, but just didn't work out for him this time.
Well, we've actually got 2 more laps to go. We forced the extra lap by about 3 seconds. And so I hope everyone's got enough fuel to get to the end of the race. It's not a particularly long lap, so it's not a huge commitment to save the lap of fuel. But yeah, that could put a couple of drivers in trouble, and of course that's good news as well for our second place man, Denisenko. I think this is him trying to get past Young, but Young stays ahead. But yeah, very slow in the middle sector on this lap, Aiden Young, which has left him vulnerable. But he did enough to hold on. But Abithu is catching up to these guys as well.
Yeah, and note to self, if you're ever on the track with Aiden Young, of course I would never be in the split that he was driving in, but he will slam the door in your face every time. So if you don't want to get blasted off the track by him, you better back out of it unless you're well beside Young, showing his racecraft there as he hangs on to P10. And as Sam said, just barely added another lap here, which could be throwing some of these fuel calculations into chaos. We're with Urbizu right now, looking ahead at that fight between Urbizu and Young, and Urbizu blinking into the netherworld right there, which you hate to see during close racing down the stretch, but he's back, at least for the time being.
Yeah, here he comes again. Oh, he's got really good speed. I think Young must be struggling with the tyres. I wonder if he even took tyres, Aiden Young, because he has not looked like the same driver as where he was in the first stint. And that is another overtake, and Denisenko gets it through that final corner. Oh, Abayo, what's going on here? Abayo down a couple of places. Tortoise and Grossman get past him, but here comes Abayo again. Oh my, I didn't know what was going on there. I thought they were going to go 3 wide, but he must have underfueled Abayo. So that explains why he's had a struggle to pull pace a little bit in recent times. But this is the last lap, and this is our top 2. It has been a classic fight. But Norbert Leitner, from nowhere, you remember he made the mistake which dropped him down to 3rd place, but he entered the pits in 3rd, and he exited in 1st, and he hasn't given it up since.
Yeah, he's looking good right now, and we're coming on to the pit straight for the last time, and it will be Leitner after a masterful drive. Leitner takes it at Mosport with Kirkapa in P2 and Steinhoff rounding out the podium in P3. And here comes Nurmi. He's your Pro-Am winner, completely drove away, got about a 5-second gap back to P2. So Nurmi dominating your Pro-Am category. And as we look down the list, yeah, we're watching Young. Oh, Urbizu wanting a piece of Young here, and Young really providing some great entertainment, fighting with guys all around him as he worked his way up 5 positions. And we'll drop down to Alex Rogers here, and Rogers had some issues. That is his P2 man behind in the frame. So Rogers had driven away initially, had a pretty good gap behind, and his competitors managed to ship that down. But here comes Rogers, happy with that AM victory and a P19 overall. And my goodness, look at all these cars, Sam. 41 cars on Mosport with 3 classes of action, and this race was absolutely everything that I was anticipating.
This is how Rogers got past Rampazzo in the closing stages. I think it was Rampazzo who had the lead in the early stages, and then there was that instant just a couple of laps ago, and that is how the lead changed. And in the end, Jamie Edwards was also able to get through and all that. So I wonder if that will be under investigation by the stewards post-race. It depends if it will be protester, which, judging by the flashy lights, it most definitely will be. But yeah, Alex Rogers at least on track. Yeah, in the lead. You can make your minds up whether that is a guilty man or not a guilty man. But yes, we will see what happens with that one. But yeah, good comeback, because yeah, Rampazzo was miles ahead in the first stint, but Rogers and Edwards came back strongly. I think that is everyone across the line. So I'll turn on some nice music, and we will go to some nice B-roll, and we'll see the race results.
Yeah, we may need to spin up that clip of Rogers again. That was a little bit of a dive down into turn 10. Of course, no live streaming here, but there are protests. And as Sam noted, there was some flashing lights there that may not have been flashed in congratulations. So we will have to wait and see what the result of that is. But speaking of results, here are the race results. And Leitner, after a well-fought both on the track and in the pits, a well-fought race by Leitner will give him the victory by 0.5 over Kirkipa. Then it's Steinhoff rounding out the podium. Roman Buckler will be in P4. Then in P5 overall and P1 in Pro-Am is Nurmi, followed by Mishka May in P7. Then P2 Pro-Am driver Carl Winkler is P8 overall, followed by Loveridge. Denisenko will round out your Pro-Am podium in P10 overall. Then it's Aiden Young, the source of a lot of good entertainment here this afternoon, followed by Urbizo Wasowski, Jan Volmers, Nikolai Melja, Paluk there in P16. Then it's Chataudas in P17, followed by Grossman in P18. And there is... did we...
I
somebody
skipped
there.
some. I'm ever so
yeah,
sorry.
you did. It's going to be... Rogers, there we go. In P19 overall and P1, at least for now, in AM is Alex Rogers, followed by Jamie Edwards and Rapazzo. That is 1, 2, 3 in AM, 19 through 21. Then it's Stephen David, Bari, Lotman, and Engel will get you to P25. Then it's Igor Kos, who we saw have some struggles today, starting... Actually, on lap 1 is when Kosa's race went sideways. Abajo as well in P27. Then it's Grandeliers in 28. Pendle in 29. Nover will round out your top 30. Then it's Hodgson, Schuttler, Fox, Cialfi, and Jesper Svensson. And as we continue scrolling, Baseggio, they're 2 laps back in P36. Then in P37, it's Eberstein. 3 laps back. Then Cesarta parked it. He's 8 laps back, followed by Guerny, Dustin Reinke, and Eric Ruseth. I don't think took the start. Must have had some kind of problem, showed up for practice, didn't qualify, and did not take the grid. But Sam, my goodness, Mosport really came through for us here today. It's a tough track to pass on. And so what we saw really is drivers exploiting the mistakes of other drivers and some really good work in the pits and fuel saving by that winning Mercedes.
Yeah, and speaking of good overtaking, we've got a man waiting for an interview who pulled off a hat trick of great overtakes. Shall we have a chat with him?
Sure.
We have Aiden Young with us now, and I'll hand him over to you, JR.
So, Aiden, you are going to enjoy the broadcast today. I think, JR here at Apex Racing TV, and you were in fights nonstop as you worked your way up the grid, managed to pick up 5 positions, actually 6, I'm going to say 7 at one point. You're running in P9. Denisenko fought back there at the end, but really some great driving, man. An outstanding drive. Might not be the result that you really wanted after a victory at Sonoma 2 rounds ago, but really some outstanding racecraft and some awesome passes, and you put on a hell of a show. So how was the race from your perspective?
The race was pretty fun. Not my best. I screwed myself with the fuel and the pit stop. I underfueled by 4 liters, so I was constantly just watching my fuel margin every lap. So I think my fuel usage per lap, I was doing like something like 1.7 a lap instead of 2.2, which is what you normally use. So I was just way off pace for the first couple laps until I managed to, find the right groove with the fuel saving, and then I kind of got back towards the pace, but I mean, I was still a second off the leaders, which isn't ideal. I enjoyed most of the battles I had, but some of the others, I felt like I was left no room, or I was brake tested. But it's racing. Like I said at Sonoma, usually you can't control what goes through people's heads. So that is, it just is what it is.
Well, and I was chuckling a little bit there because as you're talking, we're showing a couple of your moves here in slow motion, and the one that got me was the epic inside pass. We're showing it again right now, actually, down into turn 3, which I think you pulled off a couple times. You had another epic one into Moss. So, and we were also speculating. We saw you a little bit off the pace, and we're wondering if you might have picked up some aero damage along the way, but fuel save certainly explains that. So you don't sound super stoked about the result, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell you it was an awesome drive and great to watch. And thanks as always for showing up here. So as and here is your drift too, epic drift there in Moss, and I'm not sure if you got a little tap there from that Mercedes, but wow, fantastic stuff. In any event, as
from Igor.
Yeah. As we wrap up here, is there anyone you would like to thank or give a shout out to today, Aiden?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my team, WSR Esports, our sponsors, Next Level Racing, Adidas Racing, Bruges UK, and then just all the guys in the team for giving me the tools I need to do well, whether that be setup, data, coaching, or anything of that nature. The team's a great team. They love to help the drivers, and they get them faster than ever for each race they enter. So yeah, just a big thanks to them, and then also you guys for the Kraken broadcast.
All right, beautiful. Thanks again, Aiden. And yeah, kids, racing is a team sport. Focus might be on the driver, but there's a lot of hard work that goes on behind the scenes, as Aiden points out there. So, all right, well, thanks for coming by and chatting with us, Aiden, and we'll see you next week at VIR.
Yep. See you guys next week.
All right, cheers.
So that was Aiden Young there. Good to have a chat with him. Let's have a chat with our amateur winner, Alex Rogers now. And well, congratulations, Alex. That was a really good comeback from yourself. Let's start maybe with the low point of the race, I guess, that spin coming out of T2. Just talk us through what happened.
I knew you were going to start with that. I was not looking forward to that. It just pure driver error, just cold tyres. I guess trying to keep up with the guys that I shouldn't probably have been racing. A mixture of all of those things. Yeah, it's just a driver error really, and just lost it and went nose first into the wall. So actually the whole of the rest of that period, I had the steering wheel was at like 45 degrees. So I was trying to, every time I came through the first sector, it was just basically a battle of trying to keep it on the track. So it made it interesting for sure, but all through my own doing, unfortunately.
But in the second half of the race, you very much made up for it. We just saw your move on the broadcast on Jamie Edwards, and then it was the big one in the last couple of laps when you went for the move on Rampazze. We've only had one view of it, and it wasn't a very good view of it so far. But talk us through it from your perspective.
Yeah, I mean that's been a spot for the whole race, I think, for people trying to get past or getting past. I got past there 3 laps prior by Igor, I think, and that's what kind of gave me the idea. So I thought, okay, I know the move's on. I knew I was quicker than him there. The difference between what happened with me and Igor and me and Jacopo was I saw Igor coming, if that makes sense. So I saw him dive to the inside, and I thought, I'm not getting involved in that, because if he wants to go, he can go. However, I had to kind of try and get out of it at the last minute, because I knew he just sort of didn't care that I was there. So that's why, had he stayed left a little and acknowledged I was there, I think the move would have gone how it should have done. It's that classic racing driver thing, right? He punted me, he turned into me. So yeah, we could do this all day, couldn't we? But yeah, it is what it is. Obviously, that's not the way I want to pass people, but sometimes that's how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see. See if it's protested, and if so, what the stewards think of it. And yeah, see if that changes the result. But yeah, it was certainly a fantastic battle between all of you towards the end of the race. Looking ahead to the rest of the season, we're halfway through the season now. I mean, is it sort of feeling quite a long season so far, or is it quite rushing by these first 5 rounds?
No, I think it's gone pretty quick, actually. And like I said the last time you guys had me on, I have great fun doing this stuff. So It's just good that you guys put it on. So I try and show up every week and just do the best I can with the little practice that I get in. So yeah, it's gone quickly so far, and the tracks that we've got left are all like superb tracks. So it's probably going to go really quickly now.
Awesome. Well, we wish you the best of luck for those remaining rounds, Alex. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Again, Hyperion Racing, so they kind of support me through whatever. Although I'm down as a privateer, they kind of have taken me on. So them really. That's about, and obviously you guys, because you guys show up every week and put it on. So yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the kind words, Alex, and we'll see you back next time.
Thank you.
So Alex Rogers there, your race winner in the amateur category tonight. A very good performance from himself. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all we have for today, JR. But you, despite the fact that I created the calendar for this, I don't actually know what the next race is, but I think you said it was VIR next.
It is VIR next week, which is going to be fantastic. It's another track where qualifying and track position are going to be critical. There could be some fuel strategy involved as well. So you will definitely want to tune in for that. You see the quality of the racing and the quality of the drivers here. It is absolutely fantastic stuff. So go ahead and hit subscribe on Apex Racing TV, and don't forget to hit that notification icon so that you don't miss any of the action. And on behalf of myself and my partner, it is not Fitzsimmons, Fitzgerald, or Fitzerson. It is Sam Fitzpatrick and everyone else here at Apex Racing TV. Thank you so much for joining us, and be sure to come back in 1 week's time for more GT3 action at Virginia International Raceway.